Alright, hey everyone, and good Friday evening to you. It is weather for Weather Geeks time, 48 hours away from a major winter storm that will impact our area for a good 12 to 15 hours on average. We're going to get into all the details. This will be the most kind of geeky, detailed, thorough weather video you're going to find anywhere for this storm for our region, that is for sure. First of all, some statistics. No surprise, January is our snowiest month here locally. We see about 29% of our annual snowfall during the month of January, but it's interesting, even though the most snow falls in January, when you look back at the record books, at least for the Youngstown Warren Airport, which is where our official weather records are from, of course, the big ticket snows are a little less common actually in January as opposed to kind of the shoulder months, if you will, at the very beginning of the season and the very end of the season as well. So December and March, especially March, tend to be the months in which during any calendar day we have the best odds of seeing 6 inches or more worth of snow. It's quite a bit less common in January actually compared to March, historically speaking. And again, this is for the Youngstown Warren Airport. I know that we have a viewing area that has many different types of winter weather situations that tend to evolve, but we only have one spot that our records are kept, and they come from the Youngstown Warren Airport in Vienna in southeastern Trumbull County, and these numbers are also from that location. Recent big snows, and I defined a big snow as a double-digit snowfall total. At the airport, we haven't had a double-digit snow total from a storm since Christmas time of 2012, almost 10 years ago. A little over 9 years ago. 10.7 on December 26, 2012. A lot of these dates were between 2007 and 2010. That was a very snowy stretch for our region. And before then, it had been 8 years, from 1999 to 2007, since we had a double-digit snowfall tally. A lot of people around here look back at the winters of the 70s as all the snow and harsh cold and things like that. But actually, the snowiest stretch of weather on record for our region was generally between 2007 and 2010. In relatively recent history. All right, here's a look at the computer model spread for our upcoming storm. Now, this blue line is what we call the graph model. It does a nosedive because that's a short-term model that only runs out through daybreak on Monday. The model doesn't extend beyond that, and that's why the line kind of takes a dive like that. So just ignore that. Pay attention to the peaks of the lines. Now, these are the current runs of some of our major models. A range here generally from 8 or 9 inches, up to the top end being about 13.5 on the NAM. Now, this is raw model data, and trained meteorologists, of course, just don't look at one model or even a handful of models. I looked probably at 24 pieces of information this afternoon in trying to put out our first stab forecast at snow totals. But this gives you a sense as to what some of the models are showing right now. Here's a look at what we did with our official snow forecast. Now, this is a first map. No doubt there's going to be some adjustments as we get into the weekend. This map will not look exactly like this by Sunday afternoon. There'll be some adjustments here and there as the situation starts playing out and we get some higher resolution model data in. But the general idea is, a lot of snow for eastern Ohio and western PA, and a bullseye of 9 to 12 inches extending from roughly Buffalo to about Erie and down close to the I-79 corridor, and then heading up towards Syracuse and Rochester, places like that. Now, that's where we think the bullseye is currently. Now, could that 9 to 12 area expand farther to the south? Yes. Could it be retracted farther to the north? Yes. All those things are possibilities. This is not written on a tablet. It's not set in stone. This is a fluid situation. When you put out a snow map 48 hours before the first flakes fly, no doubt it's not going to be the final forecast. But this is our best estimate at this point. And I think in our TV viewing area, which is generally a 5-county area, most of us will come in somewhere between 6 and 9 inches. Right now, I think the best chance of a little bit more than that, maybe double digits, will be across the I-79 corridor and up into parts of northwestern PA. Now, in the what could go wrong department, one thing I've been watching carefully all day and will continue to watch over the weekend is the possibility of a layer of air about 5,000 feet above our heads that is pretty close to freezing. If that layer warms to just above freezing, 33, 34, then we're going to see some sleet for a little while. Earlier in the week, I didn't think we would see any mixed precipitation, but as this whole thing has trended to the west, We've seen evidence that there's going to be a push of somewhat milder air at a key level above our heads, that it's going to be possible that we have some sleet mixed in for a time late Sunday evening, maybe just past midnight or so as well. Now, if that comes to fruition, that would be a limiting factor for our snow totals, and I would hedge towards the lower end of our ranges. If we try to get sleet for 2 or 3 hours, a lot of the moisture with this storm will be wasted, quote unquote, on sleet instead of snow. Now, if this doesn't come to fruition, if we don't see any sleet at all, if that temperature at 5,000 feet stays just below freezing, you might start thinking that some of the higher end of our forecast ranges might verify. So that's going to be something we'll be watching the trends for very carefully over the next couple of days. Now, by Monday morning, that little warm nose is long gone, and we're just seeing fluffy snow at this point. The snow will start out as kind of a wet snow with temperatures near freezing, and then it'll transition into a little bit more of a fluffy snow later in the night. Now, if we do get some sleet mixed in, there's going to be a layer of crust between kind of that wet layer and the fluffier layer. It'll make it harder to shovel Monday morning. If you're going to be shoveling this Monday morning, you don't want the sleet. That is for sure, because that's going to be a layer of just crud, icy, crusty stuff in the middle of the snowpack. Snow to liquid ratios, we tend to think of kind of a generic snow event as having 10 to 1, 12 to 1 snow to liquid ratios. In other words, about an inch worth of liquid translates into about 10 inches, 12 inches of snow. I think the ratios at the beginning of the storm will be more like 9 or 10 to 1, pretty wet, and then end up closer to 15 to 1 towards the end of Sunday night into Monday morning, giving us a storm average pretty close to what is fairly typical, 12 to 1. And so with that in mind, this will be pretty decent snowman snow. The kids will be off on Monday. They're going to be off for the holiday anyway. Some people might not be working on Monday because of the holiday, or just because you don't want to get out and drive in this, or you can't drive in it. And so if you and the kids are going to be out making snowballs and snowmen, maybe getting out that sled for the first time this season, pretty decent snowman making conditions here. Now, the top layer of the snow, again, is going to be pretty dusty and fluffy, not great for packing, but just underneath that, it'll be a lot better for packing during Monday if you are getting outside. All right, so timing, 6 to 8 p.m., I think from south to north, is when the snow will overspread the area, the heaviest of which falls probably roughly 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now, in that window, not only could we have periods of heavy snow, that's also the window in which I can't rule out some sleet maybe mixing in for a brief time, or maybe even a couple of hours if that warm nose sticks around a little bit longer. The snow will then start to really taper off and become not much more than flurries during Monday morning. Now, flurries might even linger into Monday afternoon, but at that point, any additional accumulations would be pretty minor at best. All right, back here in the near term, what's going on right now? The beginnings of our storm is actually kind of this U-shaped feature right here. It's kind of hard to pick out on the water vapor imagery, but that's our trough that's digging down into the middle of the country. Now, this will close off, become a stronger low-pressure system, and move through the southern part of the U.S. as we head into the weekend. And a large swath of the country is covered by winter storm watches. We have some winter storm warnings out to our west locally. Our entire TV viewing area is under a winter storm watch for this storm, so that includes all 5 of our television viewing area counties. There's actually a winter weather advisory out for tonight near the lakeshore up near Cleveland. That's because there's been some freezing drizzle. Now, this is showing up as blue on the radar, but the ground truth to this is kind of an icy mist, a little freezing drizzle, just in time for rush hour around Cleveland. Not good news up there. That's why they kind of did a short-term winter weather advisory up there. I'm not real concerned about that happening around the Youngstown area. It's getting colder, though. After reaching the mid-30s today, we've cooled off to 26 locally. It's 18 in Detroit, and temperatures will drop into the lower teens overnight. Now, we're not expecting an ice storm around here, but this will be a bona fide ice storm for parts of the southeastern U.S., especially in parts of the Carolinas. Enough ice that they're talking power outages and all sorts of problems during late Saturday into Saturday night, Sunday morning. And so, kind of a rare product issued by the National Weather Service. You don't see too many ice storm warnings, but parts of South Carolina are under one. If you have friends or family down in the Carolinas, especially around Charlotte, they're going to be dealing with quite the icy mess, with the heaviest of the snow staying off to the north and west in the mountains of the Carolinas, and up into the central Appalachians as well. All right, the beginning of the weekend will be quiet, a lot of clouds in the morning, maybe some last-minute sunshine, and then the sky will clear tomorrow night, leading to a very cold night. We'll wake up in the single digits in most of the area first thing Sunday morning. In the meantime, Sunday morning, just a real mess down here in the southeast. Now, it's going to take until just after sunset, I think, for the snow to start approaching. I talked about the timing earlier, and here it is. This may be a little fast on our in-house model here, by an hour or two maybe. A little aggressive, but probably after sunset, as we head towards 6, 7, 8 o'clock, it's going to start snowing from south to north, and once it gets going, it's going to just snow for much of the night, again, tapering off for Monday morning. Longer range, if you've been watching these videos lately, you are not going to be surprised by the very cold forecast we have for the last 10 days of January, perhaps some of the coldest weather we've had in a couple of years heading our way in about 10 days. So not next week, but the following week. We could have a couple of days where highs are in the teens and lows might flirt with zero. We haven't hit zero officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport in almost 3 years, since the very beginning of February 2019. We might flirt with that goose egg during that cold snap later on this month. All right, another long video from me tonight. Thanks as always for watching and sticking with me on these longer videos. I'll have plenty more to say on social media this evening in between newscasts, and of course a full update on the weekend forecast, including our snowstorm. Tonight on 21 News at 11, download that Storm Tracker 21 app. It's the best weather app for crazy weather situations like this, and even your run-of-the-mill weather. It's never going to lead you astray, unlike some other weather apps which are kind of automated and don't have that local human touch. I personally typed in the forecast you're going to see on the Storm Tracker 21 app when you open it this evening. All right, again, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Friday night, and stay safe this week.